Okay, car's warmed up, close to it. This thing takes, the temperature gauge takes forever to register anything on this thing. So, Dynon intake, new injectors, new coils, new plugs, flashback to a stage 1 cob tune, active auto work, blow off valve, charge pipe, new HMS exhaust, factory cats and downpipes. So the factory OE downpipes with cats are back on the car. So deleted secondary cats. So it's a straight through mid pipe. But then we have the valved version of the HMS exhaust, which you can hear change, which of course I'll never ever use. So that's kind of pointless. So let's take this for a spin. I do have one issue in everything else is bulletproof, perfect. I put the bumper on and then there's a little rub. Something's not quite sitting right up in the area where the new cold air intake is. So I need to modify that. I'm gonna have to take the front bumper off anyway to do the headlights, the Bay Optics lights that I've ordered. I love the new blow off. No more squeakies. The HKS blow off had kind of a squeaky character to it. Yeah. I knew I could make this thing sound good. I hated the way it sounded with the full exhaust. You know, it was fully catless. And so I put the downpipes back on. And I probably lost a little horsepower, but I'm okay with that. Windows up in a second. Just wanted to give you an idea. So far, no check engine lights, no errors, no issues, but give it some time. I'm sure with this darn N54 that we'll end up with some problems, but hopefully I'll be able to keep it working and maintain it. So oil's been changed, diff fluid's been changed, transmission fluid's been changed. Flush the coolant system. Yeah, it's been a lot of work, but I finally have the car back on the road. Now the problem is I have no wheel weights in the front, so I've got to go get the alignment done, as well as rebalancing the tires. And we'll find out if I need to do a clutch. I also did Dynon front sway bar. I ended up having to reuse the, I don't know if they're aftermarket or not. They sort of look aftermarket. They look kind of OE, but I don't know, the sway bar end links, because the Dynon ones wouldn't fit. They were way too long. Gosh, let's listen to that blow off. Now that's cool. A couple of other modifications I learned about that I'd like to do coming up here would be, I guess I can go into sport mode. We have Euro MDM tuned by Alex at MSS. I don't think he has a tune for this, but yeah, I think we're getting there. This AST suspension's okay. It's a little harsh riding, and we'll see if the sway bar end links work with the Dynon bigger sway bar. I'd urge you, don't mess with the sway bar. I also did the monoball mounts, that's what I was mentioning. I wouldn't mess with it. It's kind of a pain in the butt. You end up with bolts coming loose, and just, I don't know, it's just, and the payoff doesn't seem worth it, especially driving around the street like I am. So this is the first time I'm actually driving the car. I drove it from my house, from my garage to the house, which is a mile, that was it. So this is a maiden voyage to find out if anything's gonna break. I have a considerably less torque than I did before, but now I have manageable horsepower. Before, the rear end would break loose instantaneously, which of course you could just modulate with throttle, but I don't know, I just prefer it to be a little bit more linear. Exhaust, the HMS exhaust is great. A little bit of drone, but not enough to annoy me. And I wouldn't say I'm sensitive to drone, but I don't like it. can't wait to go make an exhaust video of this thing because it's going to sound great. I guess I can feel the sway bar a little bit. I'm feeling less deflection in the front end too with the monoballs. The traction control is just engaging there. Yeah, the car sounds good. The blow-off sounds better. The intake, I don't really notice much of an intake sound. What a mess. I would urge you, unless you're just really, really mechanically inclined or have lots of time, especially if the 1M is your only car, the dyno intake is very involved. Just pay someone to do it. And preferably pay someone to do it that's already done it before. I don't know, I'm just not really inspired to drive fast in this car. This car to me, like versus the M3, to be fun to drive, like I'm going like 72. You know, it's not like I don't have to do anything crazy to make it fun. That's part of what I enjoy about this thing. Listen to that. That's pretty sweet. I mean, I've never really done I've never done an aftermarket blow off in my life. Yeah. So I'm likely going to, which I don't know that I will notice much of a difference, but I'm going to do an active flash tune and get rid of the full Cobb setup. I just like turnkey. I mean, I know MHD is pretty much the standard on these cars, but I don't want to deal with it. And I think the clutch is okay. I was worried I was going to have to replace the clutch. Not worried, but thinking that I would have to replace the clutch. Let's put this down a little bit and just kind of do a little bit of normal driving. So you can hear in here, it's very manageable. Depending on what you're hearing, you can probably pick up a little bit of the drone, but it's not bad. The thing I don't like about these type of engines, I know it's so popular, and I'm such an anti-popular guy, it's just so problematic. Like, it just, I don't have to deal with all these little things. I know that internals are good and all that, but I just don't like to have to deal with all this stuff going on. It's just not something that interests me. I'm gonna change all this crap all the time. The car's 44,000 miles on it, changing out all the stuff. Luckily, I've got resources where I can pay for all of this, but I just can't imagine if you're just you're a young guy starting out and deal with all the problems of this engine just to get this herky-jerky horsepower that we get from it. I mean, yeah, it goes, but there's very little, I'm gonna say absolutely no, but there's very little linearity to how these deliver power. And yeah, I'm gonna get a little better tune here, and that will help, but still, I mean, you can just feel all this weirdness going on in the power delivery. So I would love this car with an S65 in it, naturally aspirated V8. Like, it doesn't even inspire you to downshift into second. That blow-off's pretty cool, though. I like that way better than the sound that I'm getting from the HKS. It was kind of like a squeaky whistle. Let's put this down again since we're going slowly. I think this thing's gonna sound really, really good when we get when I get it out, a video outside the car. Inside sounds pretty good. Man, I'm so torn on brakes on this thing. It's just not necessary. Sorry, I'm not driving it very aggressively because I'm not sure the sway bar is correct. I want to drive it around for a little while, make sure those end links are going to be okay. They should be fine. I mean, if you put them in and they fit, nothing was bound up. It should be okay. Yeah, this car sounds good inside, but I think it's going to sound really good outside. We got some linearity to the exhaust note. Something funky in the feel of the brakes. Maybe they just had a little bit of rust from let me just see. Yeah, everything's good. I just felt a little weird there because, yeah, I'd washed the car and it sat for weeks while I was working on this crap. I'm telling you, there's all kinds of lumpiness like in the power band that you don't get from an S55. Or an S65. Maybe we can clean that up with a little better tune. We got to get it on radar detector on this thing. So yeah, I think everything feels pretty good. I got to go get an alignment now. Car's all out of whack. So you got to fix a little bit of the front bumpers, a little misaligned. There's a little bit of a gap. I gave up on it yesterday. I'm like, I'm going to have to take this off anyway, so no sense in stressing about the alignment of it. Yeah, to me, this car, just driving around at 50 miles an hour and doing that little torque pull is kind of cool. So whenever I raffle this car off, somebody's going to get hooked up with a project, that's for sure. Because my guess is they're always going to have to be working on this thing to keep it running nicely. It sounds pretty good though. Hard not to drive with the windows down. I know you guys are getting wind noise, but because of this. That's cool. So I get if you're 19, why you would want that, because that's cool. Even a 40-year-old fat dad likes that. So I even got a little two-step going on there. Yeah, so the 1M's coming together. It's been a lot of work. I probably should have just bought one that was stock. But you kind of got to see my style a little bit more. Not that you really care, but my style of modifications. Traction control sure does engage all the time. Maybe I need it. I don't think there's any traction control tune for that. Everything feels tight. I think everything's good. So I'll come up with some more aggressive driving videos coming up here when I get this thing, when I'm confident that I have the suspension tweaked and set up. I'll be doing more driving of the car with, you know, when the alignment's done, the mounting, balance, and everything's good. Anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more 1M stuff. I'll have it soon. As always, stay tuned for more crazy. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.